Hi, my name is Rabbi Chaim Mentz from Chabad of Bel Air, California. The story takes place over the year around 1997. So I had a Chabad house in my house, and we had 4 children, thank God. And every single time the synagogue got together for services, there's always little children running around. Eventually, my wife goes and says, it's time to get a new place. But in Bel Air, property is very expensive. I was looking for property after property after property here in Bel Air. And each time they said, no, no, no. I got so frustrated because people in my own congregation were saying, you say you want to move out of here? So come on, we're really ready to give you money. But are we just donating to you to give you rent? That you can live in Bel Air? We love having you around here. But let's start establishing a permanent place. So the heat was on. And after 3 properties came and went, I broke down. I said, I'm going to write a letter to the Rebbe. And it was on Gimmel Tammuz. And I wrote, Dear Rebbe, I'm not in a happy place. There are people who've been out on Shliach, and they already have their buildings that have been years less than me on Shliach. I'm starting to have the feeling that maybe I'm not the blessed one. Maybe somebody else should be on Shliach here. It's always been a delay and not a delay and not a delay. How many delays could you have? And that's what was keeping me believing that I'm not the guy for the place, because everything's being delayed and my congregation is getting frustrated. So I actually wrote that if you have something against me, or if I shouldn't be here, then give me a sign. And I would be more than happy to give it over to somebody else, because why should the Jews of Bel Air suffer? Walk over to the shelf. You know how you go pull it out. You open up the book, you put it in. Now remember, I'm a skeptic. And I'm also in an angry place. Meaning, angry that I don't feel I'm the guy. I open it up. And I look to the place on the right. Nothing to do with it. Nothing. I look at the page on the left side. It's a small letter. There's a guy in a hospital. What hospital? What does that got to do with me? This is ridiculous. I start reading the next. Nothing. I'm about to close it. It said, see? That's why we don't write. Because there's always a story that no one tells you. I didn't get an answer. And here I am, that guy that didn't get an answer, and that's my sign. So I'm about to close the sefer, when all of a sudden, I don't know why, but right before I close it, I open it up, and I realize, I go, OMG. This letter was written on Yud Beis Adar Sheni Tafshin Yud Tes. I was born Yud Beis Adar Sheni Tafshin Yud Tes. I go, whoa, did Rebbe wrote me a letter on the day I'm born? Okay, this is getting interesting now. Dear Rebbe, the guy writes, it's really bothering me. I hear him in the hospital, and they're taking tests. And the doctors keep on delaying my operation. So the Rebbe's bracha to him was, Kol HaKavod L'Teva. All delays are for the best. What the rabbis teach us. That all delays are for the best should be through you also. I go, whoa. Let me see what else it goes. It just goes into the same thing, brachas, and then it goes right at the end of the P.S. I received your wife's letter. She should hear B'suras Tevis soon. Background to the story. My wife wrote to the Rebbe after we had 4 children. He said, how come we not, it's bothering her. How come we didn't have a 5th child? Like another one. And here I am by myself. I go, wow, are you kidding me? This property came up. This property has been sitting in Bel Air for the longest time. But there was never a sign up, for whatever reason. All of a sudden, a sign goes up. I wonder how much it costs. I call up. I tell the lady, how much is it? She tells me the price. And I go and say like this, we're in. She says, okay, I will get the papers together and I'll fax it to you in the morning. I said, no, don't fax it to me. I'm giving you another number. I want to give it to the lawyer in my synagogue. Friday. He gets it about 10 minutes before licht benching, before candlelighting. And he calls me up. He says, this is a great deal, but I'm just letting you know, it's going to take me a long time to read everything. It's a lot of pages. So I said, she told me she has not had a bid on this property for 2.5 years. Don't read it on Shabbos. I don't want you doing anything. Monday morning, you sign it and send it to her. I said, fine. He sends it to her Monday morning. It says, over the weekend. 3 bids came in, 2 of them all cash. I call her up and I say to her, this property is going to be mine. They're going to drop out. She says, how do you know? I know. So let me tell you the backstory. This property is a $2 million property over 25 years ago. The owner went bankrupt on it. The bank took it over, went to 1.1. They started realizing nobody wanted it. They went down to 900,000. A corporation bought it thinking that they could go and do something with it. The bid was 575 that I put in. 575. She calls me up a month later. She says, what do you have to get these deals not working? How did you know? I says, I'm a believer. She says, okay, 575. I said, what did they bid? The other 3. She said, 575. I said, and they dropped out? He goes, yeah. So I'm thinking, kol hakavod l'tov, every delay is for the best. Why do I have to wait a month? I said, 550. Double lot in Bel Air, 25 years ago, was worth $2 million. Bada bing, bada boom. Thank you, Hashem. But I still had to pay for it. And that's the rest of the story.